Hello, K.Jolie, Crochet Basics, and in this episode, this is part 2 of assembling the Kiff. Okay, so this one is just the tail. In part 1, we sewed the ears, we attached them, we attached the arms, the legs. I showed you how to sew up the tail to make it one piece, so that it could be stuffed and all of that kind of thing. And we also attached the belly patch. So for this one, we're just gonna get the tail in place. All right, so I used both of my tails for this. I used the red tail to attach it onto the body, and the orange tail, the ending of the yarn type of tail to attach the tail. Sorry, I think that's a little confusing. All right, but here's the Kiff that we worked up, and we're going to attach the tail and seal it up and go from there. Okay, so let's see. The bubble should be stuffed to the tip, pretty full as you know, not too, you don't want it too stiff, you know, but pretty full. Okay, and to the end on the bottom, and then you'll count approximately 6 to 8 rows up as to where you want to attach it. One second. Okay, that's better. Sorry, my light was doing a thing. All right, so what you're going to do is you'll put it where you want it, and you want to try and center it like between the legs, the base of it between the legs, and in the orange you're going to attach it. Okay, all right, so I'm just going to go in through the side because I'm using a separate tail from the one that was attached to there. Okay, and as centered in between the legs as you can get it, and you can always adjust, you know, until it's sewn in place type of situation. All right, so you would just go through, fold it flat, and go through on the bottom, and try and go through the same row on the bottom, on the body, rather, on the body. And I always try and go through the same row whenever I'm lining it up. And I know I'm leaving it loose, so I'm going to pull that all tight in a second. And if you bought any of the other characters for this series and you need a little help, please let me know. Either message below or on Etsy's is where I primarily sell them, the patterns for this. And those I'll tuck in later. So once you have it sealed and across, then you're going to work up a little bit. So, but you'll go like across twice to get it nice and attached. Okay. just the very bottom of that row. My legs are all crooked here. And it is a little hard to do this. But make sure you're catching like the base of the tail, and you're getting your good stitches in. All right, now just to show you, I love these darning needles. These darning needles are the best. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there for a second. And zoom out a little bit. Okay, now with the red tail, your red loose, is that a knot? No, that's some weird where they attached it. Okay. That's from the factory. Okay, but with the red tail, if you can catch the very corners here on the ends, all right, you're going to go in. I feel like everything is yellow today. You'll go in, catch through the back side if you can. All right, come out the other side. Oh, I got that stupid thing there. Okay. Nice and tight. Pick up the tail. And this is just to secure it, you know, to keep where it's supposed to be, because it's an up tail. Which sounds crazy, but that's what it is. An up tail. Like an updo. All right. And then just underneath. You'll do this a few times, and this is to keep the tail up against the back. All right, but nice and tight a few times around with the red tail through the red as close as you can get it, and nice and tight to hold the tail up against the back of the body. And I know this is such a strange piece and all this kind of thing, you know, but to shape these and figure out how to do them was not, you know, the easiest, I guess. All right. But just a few across the back, in through the red, out through the red, and then in through the orange and across and back into the red. And then when you have it how you want it, you would push your needle through and knot off. All right, but that's how that would look. Sealed up with the orange, on the edges with the red, and then across the back, and that's your tail. That's how you're attaching your tail. Let me see. I think that's about it, really. Now I feel bad that I made a part 2 because the part 1 was running so long, but the part 1 was mostly like attaching all the other pieces. And sometimes with my computer, it's so hard to load. I mean, the first part 1 had failed so many times, I posted it a week later than what I was supposed to post it. You know, so the bigger the file on these, the harder it is for me to post them until I get a new computer. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll all start working out. Alright, but from here, I got it nice and good. I'm going to go in, come out through the side, smush down, come out through the side. Now I see people, and I want to come out, you want to come out not in the center, like in between the stitches, not in the center of a stitch on this, because it's a different color. So you want to come out in between your stitch, make a couple of knots right there, right up against the body, or whatever it is, you know, if you're using this technique for a different whatever, which is wonderful. Alright, and then you go right back in between, right where your yarn came out, pull through a different one, pull that knot in, pull those knots in, and snip off, and then you're totally secured. You do it right at the thing, right at the top of the knot without disturbing the knot, and you shouldn't have any problems. You can always use the yarn needle to pull it back in and work it out like that. Let's see. This was the tail that was too short, and this was my sewing tail. Now this one's a little funny, not funny, haha, but a little wonky because I felt kind of rushed, to be honest. My other Kiffs are a bit better. But just going right in. No problems. You know, and then you would do the same thing with this tail. Once you have everything secured and all of that, you'll pull it, push it off through the side, through a stitch, and then pull through, make a knot, cut off, and all that. Alright. So I hope this is helpful. I mean, I hope this is helpful. I hope the part 1 was helpful with actually sewing the pieces together and all of that. If you have any of the other patterns that you want to see, you know, assembled and everything, or you need a little help, please let me know. Whether you comment below or on Etsy's or even Instagram. And I will do my best to help you in any way that I possibly can. So, I hope you like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And check out my patterns on Etsy's and all of that. And with that, I'm going to say happy hooking, because it keeps you off the streets and keeps you out of trouble. And I'll be back real soon with my next tutorial or vlog. And have a super great day. Thank you so much. K.Jolie, Crochet Basics, Assembling Kiff, Part 2. Have a great day. Ciao.